Yo, it's Mac from the Everyday Nobody's podcast. I know you see the title, so let's get straight to it. Wallo is getting fried online for what he said at some speaking engagement. Wallo is one of the co-hosts of the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast with Gilly the Kid. He's an ex-felon who got out, and he's been motivating people ever since. This is what he said at the engagement that pissed a lot of people off.
Oh, I'm black. Oh, black people. Nobody gives a about that. Kill that shit. Ow. Either you got a good business or you don't. All that shit, nobody want to hear that shit. That's a hustle. Support me because I got a black business. Is your restaurant clean? Is the food good? Do you got consistent cooks? Is the material your good? Stop doing that. Oh, you support the white people? No, I support consistency, baby. Yeah. Out what color you is. I'm gonna spend my money. That paper, I'm gonna spend them deals where the I want to spend it at. Whether it's Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, I'm gonna do what the I want to do while I'm here. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, I ain't gonna be finessed off some black shit. But one thing about it, 70% of you motherfuckers not going to make it. I'm not no motherfucking fake ass motivational speaker that talk this dumb shit. I'm the #1 nigga in the country. You know why? Y'all seen me come out of the penitentiary. I mean millions.
Now, people were mad at him because they felt like he was speaking down on black-owned businesses. I heard Marc Lamont from the Joe Budden podcast speak on him.
So if you take each of the things he says individually, like, okay, you know, race, we shouldn't just look at race. Sure, if you run a business, you shouldn't be riding on the back of just being black and expect people to support you if it's a bad business because you're black. Your cook should be lined up. Your business should be tight. The restaurant should be clean. All that's true, right? Most of y'all not gonna make it. I actually think that's an important thing to tell any business owner, any entrepreneur. All that is good. But what the takeaway comes from that is we don't need to have a special responsibility or a special duty to support black businesses because they're black. And I think as black people, we absolutely have a duty to support black businesses because they're black,
whether they're good or not.
See,
I totally disagree.
That's where the straw man comes.
I'm letting them land.
That's where the straw man comes. Again, I'm not saying keep going to a restaurant that has rats in it, but what I'm saying is he's saying. He's framing it almost like he said it's a finesse. This, riding off this black shit. Or I'm not going to support you just because you're black. I'm saying, we should support businesses just because they black. We should pay special extra attention because they black. Because a lot of times what black people do, which frustrates me as a black business owner, and everybody here is a black business owner, so y'all understand this, is that niggas will throw us away so fast. If somebody has to wait for 10 minutes at the soul food restaurant, man, these niggas, I had to wait 25 minutes for my soul food. I ain't never coming back again.
But they'll wait like an hour at Houston's.
Nigga, they will have a buzzer at the Olive Garden waiting for an hour to get that food, right? They give us no grace, no mercy, no breaks, and I'm saying we need it. No community has the money leave their community faster than black dollars.
That's fact.
We give that shit away quick, and we love to give it to the dry cleaner, the restaurant.
Touch one hand and it goes straight to the
and that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying we have a responsibility not to play into that. And I don't. And while
and I heard Rachel Lindsay from the Higher Learning podcast speak on him.
Like, I don't understand him screaming at an audience and basically almost saying black businesses aren't shit.
Okay, so he's a very passionate guy. So when Wallo speaks, he's a very passionate guy.
I'm a passionate person too.
That's probably why he was screaming.
I'm a passionate person too.
You are.
But it basically sounded like he was saying, and this is my first time listening to it, that he was basically saying, black businesses ain't shit, and don't expect me to lift your shitty black business up. I understand if he's speaking in terms of you can't expect your business to be successful by only saying I'm a black-owned business and therefore because you are black, you need to support my black-owned business. If that's what he means, I understand that. But the way that he's yelling in this context and basically saying, I'm not going to support you just because you're black, I feel like when people say support black-owned businesses, that's not what they're asking for.
Okay, you want me to say something? I'm listening to you.
This is all I have. This is my first time listening to it. I didn't listen to this. I didn't hear this before. It sounds to me this clip sounds so anti-black. And it so seems.
I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't feeling none of that. Nothing that they said hit home for me. I hate the idea that just because somebody says this is a black-owned business, I'm morally obligated to give my money to them. Don't get me wrong, I'm here for supporting black businesses, but I do think that if it's going to be my dollar, it's going to be merit-based and not charity-based. Now, if the black-owned business is putting out a good product, I have no problem giving you my money, but don't tell me how I should spend my shit. I think it was nasty work that Rachel Lindsay said His messaging seemed anti-black because he said he don't care that you a black business. Is the product good? She's trying to make it seem like he's against us, but that's not what he said. What he's saying is that black-owned business moniker is something that has been overused and hijacked by bad faith actors. So he don't care that you black. Just put out good product. Because after a while, you're going to realize that that whole term, the phrase black-owned business, it was once a good thing, but people is going to misuse it and they're going to find a way to basically shame you into buying their products. And he ain't going for it, and I ain't either. Being black-owned is not enough for me to give you my money. I work way too hard. I remember when financial freedom was the key phrase. Every black wealth building podcast was using that phrase. They would go on Breakfast Club. They go anywhere where they could get a black audience, and they'll preach this stuff. Then you find out that none of them Forex trades got you no money. They find out that all these stock gurus were really just frauds who wanted you to buy one of their master courses. Then there was the generational wealth key phrase. They were saying that on every black podcast. Then you find out that they didn't scam your grandma, your mom, your teenager who just got out of high school, a college graduate. They was getting everybody because it's black owned. You want generational wealth. You want to be able to pass something on to your people. And a lot of them were scammers. Not saying everybody, but a lot of them were scamming. Black owned business is the same way. It was something that started off good, and then they got hijacked by a bunch of bad faith actors, and now people are just fed up. All of them little pretty phrases. I want merit-based consumerism without the politics, period. Because I know personally, I'm tired of all this woke people trying to shame me and force me into buying some that I don't want. So after Marc and Rachel say that, when all else fails, let's just talk about his tone. They don't like his tone. They don't like his delivery. To that, I say, stop acting like a Once again, Wallo is a motivational speaker. This is what he's paid to do. You don't have to necessarily like the delivery, but the people who pay him, they like the delivery. If you want somebody to speak that's super eloquent and soft-spoken, go to EYL, go to Earn Your Leisure. They break it down, but it's not as boisterous. But if you want some motivation that screams at you, Wallo is the way to go. It's like people want to critique his delivery, but the delivery is what got him there. I'll give you an example. For motivation, right? I lift weights. I listen to CT Fletcher.
Command you to grow. You must grow. I'm the boss, motherfucker. I tell you what to do. You don't tell me. I told your ass, grow. Grow. What did Junior Miles say? Junior Miles said, everybody shut the up.
CT Fletcher calls you a petrified pussy if you lifting weights and you don't finish your set. He just screams at you and he tells you, keep pushing hard because your set ain't done yet. That motivates me. I need somebody to tell me, hey, you acting like a that's why you can't lift 405. That's why I'm saying, yeah, maybe that style of motivation is not for you, but it is for somebody. And that somebody is paying Wallo to say these things. Now let's have a moment of honesty and vulnerability. You know, maybe I'm just a little jaded. Maybe I'm just a little too passionate because I've been through some of the same things myself. I've supported plenty of black businesses, and I have definitely been scammed, and I have definitely gotten unfavorable service. But nothing pissed me off more than that Tulsa real estate fund. Let's take a trip down memory lane. See, I watch Vlad every day. I've been doing this since like 2000, maybe 2015. So around 2017, 2018, somewhere around there, there's a guy on there named Jay Morrison. He was a guy who went on there. He said he sold a bunch of drugs. He did a bunch of time for it. He got out. He changed his life through real estate. He was very popular in the black spaces on the internet, and he was preaching his message. So that was the first time Jay came on Vlad TV. The second time, he came back even stronger, preaching this message how we as black people can overcome through real estate, because that's how he did it. He spoke about the history of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and how we built this self-sufficient community and it was burned down by the government for no reason. And that was the first time I heard him present the Tulsa Real Estate Fund. So basically, it was a fund where we could crowdsource collectively for $500 at 8% annually to get back what was taken from us. The catch is you had to wait 2 years before you could actually get your money back. Do you know I received a check for like $3? The paper damn near cost more than the check. You could have just kept it. In 2 years, I believe we crowdsourced like $16 million Do you know that he blew all of that money? Somehow he evaded the IRS, but we was left with our dicks in our hands with nothing to show for it. Then he made it to where you can sell your shares, but you can only sell your shares to somebody who also has shares in the company. And let's be real, who would buy more shares to a company that's already hemorrhaging with no return in sight? I did that because I was sold on what he was saying and on this build black generational wealth bullshit that he was selling us. So yeah, I may be a little jaded. I'll take that. Like I have no problem admitting that I have a problem with people who prey on our community and try to shame us into spending our money. I remember at the very end of that Vlad TV interview, Jay asked Vlad if he would invest, and Vlad said no. Vlad said it sounded too good to be true, and he was essentially calling it a scam. The comment section was going crazy on Vlad, saying that he won't buy because he's a scammer. He likes to take from the black community, but he's not about putting back into the black community. And it looked even worse because Vlad also had Grant Cardone on there, and he had a very similar type of fund. But Vlad didn't question him. Vlad didn't push back on him. Vlad didn't press him. And maybe it's just because he saw like Grant Cardone's resume or something. Maybe there was good reason for him not pushing back on Grant. But I do know there was a lot of infighting in that comment section because they're basically trying to say that Vlad is racist. They say you ain't press Grant the same way you press Jay, and they doing the same thing. Now look at us. Vlad was right. I'm joking about that, but all seriousness, Vlad was right. That was a scam.
In the interview, he was like, Vlad, are you going to buy shares in this? And I said, no. He said, why not? I said, well, because unlike stocks, you can't offload them very quickly. He goes, well, I'll tell you what, Vlad, I will give you some shares. I said, word? He goes, yeah, I will give you some, I will gift them to you. So after the interview, I'm like, all right, let me go get my free shares. We reached out. Well, in order to get those shares, you have to do 5 Instagram posts, and you have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do, I'm like, I ain't doing none of this. This is bait and switch.
See, I was lucky. I look at it as luck now because I got through it. I only put up $500, but think about all the other black people who put up a bunch of money because they wanted to support black businesses without actually paying attention to the merit of the character. That's why I feel this way. That's why I don't buy nothing if I don't like the product. So you're not going to just sell me on support black businesses just because it's a black business. And that's why I don't really like this whole idea that, oh, you're putting down black people when you say stuff like this, or, you're hateful toward. No, I don't want to hear none of that shit because just like everything else, it starts off really good and then people take the message and they run with it and they start scamming out of it. So I don't want to hear none of that. But what do I know? I'm just an everyday nobody. Do you think Wallo is wrong? Am I bitter? Tell me what you think in the comments. Like and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.